Good evening and welcome on down to Treeby Community Centre for this, another round of the Westpac Women's Premiership, and it's time to bust out our favourite word, Donnie. It's the penultimate round of the year.
Absolutely, mate. It's a fantastic word. It's so much better than saying second last round of the year. It just adds that sense of gravitas. And there is plenty of gravitas to this game. The Fremantle Roosters at home fighting for their right to play finals. It's a big round for them. They've been pretty good all season, but that they sit level with the North Beach Sea Eagles with one round to go after this one. If they can win here, that they are very, very close to saying they're in finals.
And I think that's most important. You can't get into the questions of if we win, can we win by a lot and start putting points difference into this equation. We know Fremantle are very good at home. I think they've probably been the best home side of the year. Joondalup Giants would probably have something to say about that, but I only tokenise that because they've played so well away from home as well, so there's not that much of a Brisbane Gabba advantage. But we'll look as we see the umpires just getting ready on the far side of the field, probably just 2 minutes away. We'll jump on down to the sideline for Macy Simpkins. How's it feeling down there?
Hey guys, yeah, it's really good conditions down here at Treeby Sports Complex. Good crowd as well. Once again, the Freo Juniors showing a display beforehand. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing tonight's match. It should be exciting. Like you guys said, Freo always turn up at home, so exciting to see how they start this game.
Macy, just two big team lists tonight. A lot of subs going to be moving around. Did you get a little look at either of the sides in the warm-up at all? I know you were a little bit behind the old schedule and had to fetch your own chair thanks to the crew at LMSC not getting you one this evening. But if you had to put an early tip in, if you had to get a vibe check for us?
I can see there's lots of numbers. As you guys know, throughout the season, there's been a lot of struggles with injuries and players in and out. So it's good to see both full sides on the bench and on the field tonight. It's nice to see some key players back. For example, number 6, Anika Stevens for Joondalup Giants there. And as you guys can see setting up, they've got the big sign out ready for Keisha Marshall's big 100th game.
Yeah, it is a very big occasion. Thank you, Macy. 100 games, which doesn't come around very often for many players, and it's good to see, Donnie, in what is typically a shorter season than a lot of other competitions. This Westpac Women's Premiership, getting to 100 games is a pretty good achievement.
Absolutely. I mean, she's a real stalwart to this competition, which is not a word you use for 100-game players in a lot of other competitions, but it's a massive deal in the Westpac Women's Premiership, and Keisha Marshall's been a great player for a long time. She's leading the side out, and she'll be dangerous on that edge, as she always is. It's going to be a key player for the Roosters. We've talked a lot about the Roosters, though. The Giants, they're fighting for a minor premiership. They're still level with the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs on the ladder. So a win for them, I mean, gives them a chance to still push for that top spot, the minor premiership. It's a big deal.
Yeah, and Ellenbrook play immediately after tonight, and everyone knows that it is the penultimate round, so it just puts that little bit of extra pressure on a side that is coming up against a bottom of the ladder team, and you want to make sure you keep pace. So Joondalup, a good chance to put some good pressure on Ellenbrook tonight, that's for sure. Donnie, you had a look at the other ladder as well, and just on points difference as well, that's probably the biggest stat of the year for Fremantle back on a ladder perspective.
Well, the Roosters, they've got the best points differential in the entire comp. So they're a couple of wins away from those two top sides, but a better points differential than both Ellenbrook and Joondalup, despite the fact they're ahead of them. So that gives them a big advantage too against North Beach, who are minus 85. They've had a couple of big losses. We're just about ready for a kickoff in this one.
Late tip?
I like the look of the Joondalup side. I'm going to go the Giants in a tight one.
Fremantle kick off and will win this game of football as well, Donnie. I'll call it here nice and early. Home side will get it done. Not easily, though. First little carry up, Giants, through Kiri Smiler. And look just to set through the middle of the field. No real interest on the outside early. Fremantle Roosters just going to be very content holding up this pattern, drawing in some lines early. Big wrap-up tackle on Chanel Edwards. They like to leave things a little bit later in the half to get a bit imaginative with ball in hand, do the Joondalup Giants, as Joe Solomon gets around the outside corner. Good gain, 22 out from the line. Flat across. Edwards bumps one off. Slow into contact, gets the hands free, and Pakira Shunak just finds one for Warren on the outside. Now looking to put a little bit of pace into this fixture. Anika Stevens immediately over the top. Ball bobbles around to Bailey. Nicely picked up at the end by Atwell and to ground. And a very subdued first set, I must say, Donny.
I tell you one thing that I loved in that set, though. Chanel Edwards got the ball twice, and both times, as soon as she caught it, Mahinarangi Rangaranga was right up in her face both times, gave her no room to wind up, to get going, hit her hard, and making sure that she's not going to have the impact that she normally does. A penalty now to the Roosters, get them out of their own end.
Be an important little kick as well. Atwell never going to take the longest yards off it, but as she trips over her teammate and now sends it sideward, so it's not even Atwood, it's Beth Norton, who's had a very good second half of the year as well. We mentioned that bit of a slow start for the Roosters, and Beth Norton has led pretty well, I'd say, throughout the second half of this.
Oh, she's a sensational player, and just plays what's in front of her. Got speed as well, so if you give her an inch, she will crack through the other side and burn you. But has shown to be proven to be a very good ball player as well, controlling things nicely for the Roosters as they set up coming out of their own end. Nina Ratene, dummy to the inside, goes herself. Not the captain, despite the captain armbands on. Both arms.
It's the shoulder pads, the sleeves come up and it doesn't look good.
Just looks like the soccer captain's armband.
Would you believe it's a boy's small, those shoulder pads as well?
Well, a good run here, taking that one forward. I think that's Katarina Horner, is it? In 10, not 13, perhaps. So the kick goes in behind now for Norton. It sits up nicely. So a nice bounce there for the Giants. So both teams just getting through their first sets, even with the penalty. Fremantle quite happy just to get through their set, put it down the other end, and now work for the mistake from the Giants.
Yeah, other than Anika Stevens out there, there's not too many playmaking instigators out there tonight, so we might go through a couple of sets and waiting on a mistake almost for an opportunity to be sniffed and taken advantage of. Backdoor, Edwards ignored for now, and Stevens does get a little bit of room to manoeuvre. Wanted to inject early in the set, driven backwards though. Alex King held on for the ride for a long way there. Edwards through the middle, taken really nicely and low. I think that is a jersey swap there with Rangaranga. Early kick, bit of space, nicely chased onto by Bailey.
Well, didn't seem to get too much of that kick either, so not a lot of depth to it. And the fact that the Roosters are able to defuse it gives them pretty good field position. They look to step through the middle. I think that's Atwell with the ball. Plays it back to Jetta. Now the Roosters again. Neither team looking to be overly expansive with the ball in the early going. Jenkins plays the ball back. Turned underneath from Rangaranga. Stepping past a couple. Shelford Salt. Now they go to Norton. Norton goes right to the line. Goes out the back to Atwell. Atwell gets it out wider again to Webb. Well, that's the first real use of the ball that we've seen so far. That one hits the deck. There was no communication. Well, the decoy runner there from Kiani Atwell. But you've got to expect the ball at all times. As we have a look at the replay, was clearly running through as the decoy. The pass went straight to her. Should have taken it.
I think as well there's something to note there. The dummy runner could be a useful bit of tactics early for the Roosters. Joondalup is sending one or two shooters up and there's no real line speed at all from the rest of the defence. So if we can suck that shooter in and start using the ball early in the set, there might be a bit of space, at least 3 metres. It doesn't have to be a line break. As we see Joondalup, middle of the ground, and Stevens will let this one out early. They go all the way through the sets of hands this game. Seeing the wingers get involved for the first time out wide, Moeka. Nicely picked up from dummy. Biddle, straight lines, keeps her feet, tries to spin out and gets the hands free, but just pins the ears and stays in the contact. Good run halfway through the set. In a decent enough field position to have a little look here. Although with the double punk from Parakura doesn't really get them anywhere. Now we go Stevens back door. In fact, it was later in the set. High ball. Left as well. Big chase on. Foxcroft could be the one for Joondalup. They might just be able to kick this one dead though. Karina Atwell, nowhere really else to go. Probably just lazy a little bit on the fringes, realising a kick's coming on 5.
Well, Tiana Jenkins just comes too far forward. He overruns the ball and gets caught horribly out of position. That could have been tragic there for the Roosters. Not the start they would have wanted. Luckily, Atwell's able to get back, kick it over the dead ball line. Set. Another opportunity coming for the Giants to build some pressure. They go the short option. No contest for the ball. Taken there by Warren. And the Giants, well, 10 metres out, right in front of the sticks. Now it goes out to Stevens. Stevens with a short pass. The Giants towards the line. The Roosters get numbers there to stop Kennedy Joe Solomon. Stevens now fires one again towards the middle with Edwards. Edwards again, Lunga involved in the tackle. One on the bounce to Smiler. Smiler not going to look to ball play. Pulls out of the tackle of Norton. Parakura gets to dummy half. They go to the right-hand side. Getting to the outside now. A good pass out to Matthew. Put down. So now with Stevens. Stevens looks to put a little chip into no man's land. They're chasing through. Stevens is going to claim that it came off Runga over the dead ball line. And that's going to be the call from the referee as well.
Certainly played at it downwards. Just the line would be the question, but looking live, it looks like you're trying to save the ball here. Good angle from LMSC coming up. We'll get a better look at it. Runga down late and all day. That's fine to be a dropout. Line is pretty transparent down there, but I could see it. Another dropout. This time finding a little bit deeper space. With a head of steam, they'll come straight back into this. Great tackle. Coming out to meet it, Claudia Foster. First one there and dealt with all of the issues. Left-hand side for Smiler. Lots of pressure building on the Roosters' defence. They'll know there's a bit of a weapon out wide if they want to use it. Instead, they'll get 2 metres out directly in front. One-on-one strip is there. Keisha Marshall runs away with a little bit of room in front of her.
Well, in game number 100, we said she was going to have an impact, and well, that's a pretty good impact after 3 sets back to back to back, coming up with a one-on-one strip to save the team from conceding first points. Remains 0-all on the fuel to go and play scoreboard. Down to Macy. Macy, I mean, are you seeing any signs of fatigue there from the Roosters after having to do so much defence on their own line?
Yeah, as you can see, Claudia Foster's just subbed on for them. So I think they're looking to use their bench quite early. I can see them warming up on the sideline here. I think it just, previously, as we've seen throughout the Freo games, they're solid defence, and Keisha Marshall with that turnover just goes to show that that's still a solid part of their game here, which is good.
Good Macy, and good tackle by Edwards, that's for sure. Put a halt into the fourth tackle. There you go, nice and high and long. Little tester and lost forward. Moeka never really settled underneath the footy. He's going to lock that one on. 21 out in a very good field position. So Roosters have absorbed, and now it's time to attack. It's never settled. Changing the angle between yourself. Never had heels towards the baseline. One to forget.
No, absolutely. We did get through some of those jersey swap confirmations as well. Kiwa Shelford Salt in 12, and Hinaranga Yulanga in 8, and Natina Retene is in the 8, sorry. Rangaranga's in the 13, and Katarina Horner in the 10. So they're the changes, and we'll try and get some of the other ones as we go along, if there are any. But a great attacking opportunity now for the Roosters through Webb. Put down onto her back, and the Giants will professionally slow things down. It's King, dummies to the outside. Nowhere to go though. Retene runs the decoy. Now they go straight and hard towards the try line, not far away at all. Good quick play the ball. Comes out to the left. Dummy and go back in field. So Roosters, they have got a couple of players out there onto the park from their bench. So again, just a couple of metres short, trying to fight in that tackle there is Stevens. Goes to King. King goes out to Atwell. Atwell gets it on to Marshall. Marshall goes wider. Jenkins for the corner. And I think she's put it down. Referee sees it the same way. Knock on.
Probably had to go back inside to Marshall there, maybe. Game 100, you have to be thinking about the selfish play on the inside. It was the right pass to give. We'll take a look at the sideline camera here. It was going to be a bad pass to throw back inside anyway, and a tremendous little tackle / tap through on the inside. Big try saver early here, 12 minutes in.
Well, guess who that was? Coming across to make that cover tackle.
Oh, well, then it has to be Stevens.
It has to be Stevens.
I was more interested on the 100-game pass back on the inside. Didn't check the defender.
If somebody's going to show up anywhere on the field at the right time, at the precise moment that they are needed, it's going to be Anika Stevens.
Slow play here for Joe Solomon. They got plenty of numbers on the short side. Don't opt to go out too wide. Nice little pick out the side by Parakira Chernak. Rolls them over the halfway line, but it's been a slow set. Edwards fills in at half. Good look there. Trying to get it around the outside. Not too much happening here for Stevens. 40 metres to go. This one's lost forward through a couple sets of hands. Noonan looks to the sideline, wants a decision. Looks like it will be lost forward off Joondalup. And Fremantle, enough advantage there, 0 tackle.
Well, just a couple of plays in a row there. Parakira Chernak had a good run from dummy half, and then after that, Chanel Edwards got into acting half, and then Shauna Narry are into dummy half as well. So just a couple of players not used to that role, and it seemed to suck a bit of the momentum out of the attack for the Giants.
And there's a few players that can certainly fill in at half. It shouldn't be left to some of those forwards out there unless they're all on the bench. The backs having a day off.
Fremantle and stepping off the left. Good run again, but Stevens comes up with the tackle. Shana Marshall out there in jersey 19. She's had a nice impact since she's got onto the field. Had a couple of strong carries. Now the kick goes through and taken beautifully there. Well, had to be taken. It was under all sorts of pressure. And there's a shot! Bang! And it's that player we were just talking about, Marshall. Gets up and goes bang! Sophie Foxcroft. She knows she's been hit.
Wind it back. Wind that back. Gee, it's a delayed reaction, but bang! That is good there by Marsh's. Come off the bench and had 3 really good impacts. Penalty goes the way of the Giants for the tackle after, which was fair enough as well. Might be Nikita Manning-Daniel out there in the 24 that committed the offence. Check that one too, Fremantle Roosters. If you've watched this Westpac Women's Premiership over the last 3 years, you know this is the same joke every week. Punchline never gets old though.
Well, we've given the credit to Marshall. Marshall's actually the 24. The 19 is Peters. Kahu Peters. Got the correction coming through. So apologies to Kahu Peters, because deserves the credit for that fantastic tackle and the way she started since she got onto the field. Been fantastic as the Giants now going across field. Dummy and go from Biddle. You can't hold off Biddle, not for a second. Now getting out of dummy half is Topaz. Porter! Straight through. Well, the Roosters just opened up. Porter chopped down, looking for a quick play the ball. They come back towards the middle with Warren. Warren Looks to step past the first tackle of Peters, but held on to by a couple of Roosters. Parakura Chernak, points left, goes right, again to Biddle. Biddle started it. What a pass! They go over in the corner. Moika dots down in the right-hand corner, and the Giants score first, but what a pass from Biddle.
Just a bullet across the face. I mean, Biddle, after a good run, confidence up. Good thing to get the ball back in her hands. Stevens probably just resting out on the left for once in her life, and he didn't get a good angle of the pass on that occasion, but it was flat. That was hard. Biddle does a good effort. 4 points to nil with a tricky one to come.
Well, it's been an intriguing opening 16 and a half minutes. It feels like both teams are nervous. They're trying to get into that high completion finals type football, but it's been a real sort of nervous sort of start where neither teams have been willing to use the ball, and we see that when the Giants use it, how effective they can be.
It's tricky. Exactly. Kind of in the same vein as you, Donny, but I almost feel like it's a bit of poker at the moment. There's all the cards are still held up. No one's putting any chips in. No one wants to show off anything at the moment, but you show one thing. June Biddle makes hard work for Anika Stevens, but you still can't be mad at the effort. Decent nudge, just going to fall short right in front. 4 points to nil on the Fuel to Go and Play scoreboard.
The Roosters have got to respond. So we see their pass again from Biddle. It was an effort there. Bailey sort of getting up, trying to knock it down, but the pass was too good, too crisp. Hits the winger on the chest, and it was Mata Moika. It was a pretty easy finish for her. Just had to catch it and goes over untouched. But yeah, some great lead-up work from the Giants. There was a couple of players involved, and Biddle was involved twice in that set.
A couple of Super League coaches for touch rugby over the summer. Their ears have just pricked up watching that pass. Oh, is Biddle back available for summer? Bit of representative touch footy. That pass will go far. Decent nudge to get us back underway as well. Straight down the guts. Puts a lot on our area to run it straight back. Opts to go around the outside, still dragged down nicely. Sending up a good line, driving a tackle backwards. Ramita Toa. Just kind of got caught on the outside foot, driven backwards through the contact. Need to just straighten this one up through one of the key runners. Who might all be on the bench though, in fact, so it's going to be Waratiri Edwards probably taking the next carry. Tallest timber out there for now. Edwards comes into frame just behind, but this one will go inside, maybe out. Probably needed to be the inside check. Joe Solomon was overrunning even if the pass did manage to get on the outside.
So that'll be a zero tackle. So knocked down there by the Roosters.
Fair enough. Hard hit by Keisha Marshfield. Game 100. For putting on some good hits early. They've just all been in the defensive half. Stevens, short side. Good palm off. Shrugs a couple off.
I absolutely love it. I love it when Anika Stevens runs like that, because that is hard to handle. So often she just plays ball player, but shows her pure power and tenacity in that run. Gets the Giants on the front foot, and the Freo did everything they could just to try and slow it down. They had to. They had to give away that penalty.
The whole tackle was a dog's breakfast to begin with, and I think there's slowing down that was going to happen, but then they were in an awkward position and it slowed it down too much.
Well, they do get a chance to reset their line, but the Giants are coming. They are starting to... They're moving through the gears in this game, Nick.
Just watching this tackle again on replay. There's players rolling everywhere underneath and around. Go again, Donnie. To be honest, I didn't even hear you.
Well, the Giants now right on the attack. Parakura Chernak goes the pass across. Stepping back in field. A fair bit of involvement here, Kennedy Joe Solomon. Plays it back again. Parakurashunak goes the short side to Stevens. Stevens steps back infield, looks to go over the top of a couple. They're going to have to get numbers there to hold her up, and they manage to do it. She's quickly racing back to the 10-metre line. She's showing the tempo that she wants her team to play with. Now Warren going across field, ball in two hands. Dummied a couple of times. Toa was on the outside shoulder as well. Now they come towards the middle. Again with Biddle. Biddle looking to go between defenders. Chopped down, important tackle from Henry. Now they get out of dummy half through Porter. Porter sort of started that last attack that led to the try. And that's a handover. That was the last tackle. So perhaps not the play at all that time from Topaz Porter, going from dummy half on the final play and just handing it over fairly meekly.
Anika Stevens was always 3 or 4 passes back out to the left-hand side, and once Biddle got in the contact, you just get lost without a leader for half a second, and that's all it takes for 1 or 2 extra tackles. Fremantle need to exit their defensive half pretty effectively from here. You don't want to keep absorbing. Go down 8-0. Have had their chances early in this half. Good wrap-up tackle. No call of held as yet, but they're going to get a quick play of the ball here. No markers, and they've got to use this one. Outside again, Norton just had to give it flat, and it's chopped on through the middle of the line. Taked out nicely by Rere at the back. Ball half goes to ground, cleaned up nicely. No loss forward there. A couple of eyebrows raised around the corner though. Wiley from half, running vertically and wrapped up by Bailey, who's been good defensively so far. Territory all in favour of Joondalup the last 8 minutes. Just waiting to see where Parakurashunak starts looking. One more set up through Warren. Genuine workhorse outfit, driven backwards. So we'll get a slow play of the ball. Anika Stevens changes the call. High ball, nice and wide. It's going to get in behind Jenkins again, but he's going back correctly with the ball. In goal, needs to loop around nicely, has enough space to manoeuvre, but not going to escape the next tackler, Stevens, who might get done for high.
Liam Noonan straight away signalled shoulder.
Fair enough. I was wondering if you were giving me that's blatant and he's not calling, Donny. I wasn't sure what to comment.
He was saying the seat. He was giving the seatbelt signal.
Professionally tackled.
Which, again, that in the junior levels of the game you can't do it, but senior footy here, so no problem, says the referee. They do eventually get that piggyback penalty out of their own end.
Producer Dave says hi. None of us.
Well, the rugby league gods intervened. They agreed with you.
Macy, sideline, 24 minutes in now, and it's only 4-0 with that one chance in the corner stopped by Anika Stevens for the Fremantle Roosters. And if we can sort this territory battle out, do you think they've got a good chance in the second half coming back into this a bit?
Yeah, we always know that sometimes these games go right down to that last 70 minutes. I think I'd love to see the Freo halves get more involved. At the moment, we can see Biddle and Stevens just running the show for Giants. So for Norton and King for the Fremantle Roosters, I'd love to see them take a bit more charge in this last bit of this first half and second half.
Yeah, spot on. It's been a good year for Norton, and King I've wrapped for years, but to be honest, I've never seen that big breakout performance. In this finals campaign, Roosters can get through in third, only win 2 games to win a cup. And it's very achievable, trying to go through the middle, Claudia Foster. So we get good field position off the back of this penalty. They've snuck up the field well. Turner Wallace shifts out left-hand side, goes to the ground. Norton tries to pick it up. Just messy all the way through. Oh, we'll wait for Mr. Noonan.
They should get a result here, Fremantle. I think they're not. It was all legs from Fremantle and knocked on Joondalup, and Liam's got that call 100% correct. It was sloppy. It's not pretty at all from the Roosters, but they've somehow come up with a result. As we have a look at the replay to see that again, a terrible pass just off the legs, all legs from the Roosters, and then knocked on the ground by the Giants.
You're almost better just giving that a big old punt, aren't you? Big chance for the Roosters here now. Don't have to score, but boy, it'd be nice to score.
It'll be fun for us. It was a great call, I thought, from Macy there before saying that the halves need to get more involved. The Fremantle side have relied very heavily on their forwards. Players like this player with the ball in hand now in Horner and also Claudia Foster. But the halves down this end of the field, they need to take control, and it's Foster that gives the long pass out to Jenkins. Jenkins, she's had heavy involvement in the chances that the Roosters have had. Hasn't been able to convert it into points so far. This time held up over the line. It's a second trip over the try line without getting a 4-pointer.
Good tackle as well by Kennedy Jo Solomon. And good first half from her as well.
Come back towards the middle. Foster again getting her hands on the ball. Lunga turns that one underneath. Now Shelford Salt. Centre field. 6 or 7 metres out from the try line. There's Norton. Norton dummies a couple of times, then gives the floater out wide. Get the ball down eventually. Well, it took a while, but eventually Isabel Bailey gets the ball to the ground, and it's 4-4 with a kick to come.
What a great pass again. This one does look even more like a touch rugby pass over the top with the high elbow and the rip down and across. I love every single bit of this. That's what we needed, the halves to respond, and given a good opportunity, rip Bet Norton over into the corner. Isabel Bailey took finishing, needed to get this left hand down over in the corner, but that's really good stuff. 4 apiece, and same as the first, a difficult kick to come.
Well, it was a great effort from the Joondalup try scorer. Matamuika scored the first try and almost saved that one. If she had been able to get just a little bit of assistance from some of those other inside chasers that kind of gave up on the run, they might have been able to save that one as well. The Roosters, they've been over the line more often, I think, than the Giants so far, so I wouldn't be writing them off by any stretch.
There's a lot of footy left in this game. Still 7 minutes to go in the first half after the next 20-odd seconds for the kick. Tricky one at that, though. Treeby Community Centre does look good at night. So does camera 3 as always. Has had a few good shots tonight already, camera 3, in both corners. Beth Norton going to have to bend this one around. She set it up just out to the right. Jordan on camera 3.
Doing a good job. It's never the easiest job when you're the mobile man. That one just coming up short, so it remains 4-4 on the fuel to go and play scoreboard. 28 minutes gone. Well, it's been that kind of half so far. It's been a little bit dour as we again see that fantastic pass. And, well, Macy, you called for the halves to get involved, and as soon as they do, it leads to points for the Roosters.
Yeah, like I said, they're the ones that run these games, really. So, yeah, called it.
Motherly instincts maybe just kicking in a little bit early for Macy. Just kick off. Nicely cleaned up along the back. Ansley Henry has an impressive leg drive. Gets out to their own 40. Chopping and changing directions through the middle of the ground. The big units are back out there for Joondalup. Edward, Smiler, all back out there to finish this half off. So you're going to have to absorb some pressure late, Fremantle Roosters, after the turnover. In the meantime, Captain Horner straightens up the guts. Sorry, gave it off. Sets out to the right again here, Horner. What a nice dicey run through the middle of the ground. That's what she was looking for on the first one. Could go all the way here. Katarina Horner dots it down, but it didn't look pretty. Liam Noonan comes around the back. He's just looking at his touchy for a while, but will award this try. 8 points to 4. Thought she was looking for that inside line. Only took 2 attempts at it and looked pretty good going through the middle.
Well, fantastic play from Katarina Horner. Doubled up in that set of 6. You said she got the ball, turned that one underneath to Peters, and then sets up for the next carry. Just footwork, late footwork at the line, straight through the guts. And then to have the speed to take on Taria Herrera, I mean, that's impressive stuff from Katarina Horner. A very important try, gives the Roosters the lead just right on half-time.
Yeah, sorry, I had 35 in my head for some reason. Apologies to the viewers at home. Do this sport every week at least, so 30 minutes, and it probably is maybe almost a mini coaching slip up there with Chanel Edwards, Smiler missing the whole last part of this first half. Only did one stint, and they've conceded 2 tries off the back of that.
Well, I've seen both teams have been moving their bench around quite frequently, trying to stay fresh in the middle. But yeah, you want your best players out there playing big minutes. As the kick from Norton just shanks that one to the left-hand side. The shake of the head tells you all you need to know. That one waved away 8 points to 4 at half-time on the Fuel to Go and Play scoreboard.
Yeah, we'll take a short break. We'll come back with the second half after this. Captain's work not finished off there by Norton. They'll probably sit on opposite sides of the change rooms here in the Westpac Women's Premiership. We'll be right back after this with some more footy action. Welcome back. Second half just about to get underway here at Treeby Community Centre. Two tries in 2 minutes to the Fremantle Roosters. Gets them back up in front just before the halftime break. Donnie, that's a very good end to a half of footy.
Absolutely it is. We went from a dour game, 4-0, not many points, and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, the Fremantle Roosters do what the Fremantle Roosters do. Scored 2 tries in very quick succession to head to the sheds in front, 8 points to 4, as they try and secure a finals berth. Now just one round to come after this one, and the Roosters have first use of it. The Giants will look to set the tone with their defence after leaking a couple at the back end of that first half. Peters had some impact off the bench in that first half, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. Had 2 good runs with the ball and then played one of the tackles of the year. It has to be up there at least. Clip that one for socials, that's for sure. Penalty here. Just a little bit too high, Liam Noonan says. Probably just checking that at half-time, making sure they re-establish the boundaries there. Chanel Edwards just slipping up around the outside here, I think. We'll see on the replay. And no, it's the initial tackle on the outside. Probably Ellie Warren, I'm going to ping. But yeah, very good impact. And Kahu Peters should stay on for most of this half. You would think maybe just do one big stint. Will I get a chance? Oh, no, no real chance. I was going to maybe go to Macy. We'll go to her in the next break. Keisha Marshall, game 100. Wrapped up, slow play of the ball. And they're very flat out wide here to the left. 2 passes through. Here is Kahu. Nowhere really to go this time. Couldn't get a big leg drive going. Wanted to break out of the tackle. Now we can see a few sets of hands. Sheffield Salt through the line. Now we can play some backdoor footy. King spends it wide. Atwell gets rid of it quickly, but flat-footed wide Marshall. Now need to find something nice and wide. Finish this set off well. Through a couple again, inside, Peters now, good little flick ball, now time to go through the line, wasn't going to quite be there. 5th and last, Peters dummies in front, Atwell, grubber wide, couple chases on, but big tall Timber just wrapping it up. Maybe a little bit confused on the playmakers for that set, but Atwell seemed determined to kick that one through.
Well, it was an interesting kick, one of those. It was absolutely thumped. The bounce could have gone anywhere. But as you say, Brenna Bunce, luckily it was her there for Joondalup because most other players, I think it would have bounced over their head. But she's able to put the mitts up and secure possession for the Giants. But a good start for Fremantle. They got the penalty. They got all the way down the other end and a chance to attack right from the outset before Joondalup even get to feel the ball in their hands again. Now they've got to work it right off their own try line. Just trying to complete this set. The little tip-on play, I don't know whether Warren was ready for it there from Smiler. I reckon Smiler's thrown about 3 passes in her career, and that's one of them. That's why she wasn't ready, as the pass comes back to Stevens for the kick at the end of it. Gets underneath it. Jenkins has a stumble. She's stood up now. She'll go towards the sideline and does stay in the field of play.
It's a really good...
Now the flag goes up.
Late
the flag went up very late.
Late flag. And is flag back down?
We're going to say hand over, so no late effort from Joondalup.
It's a great chase, though, from Herrera. Joe Solomon didn't quite catch the other number, but all 3 were hard on the chase early. Didn't want to cut you off while you're speaking, Donny, but I was biting to say good chase coming here, and I wish I did.
Jenkins, she's had some moments. She's had some good moments and some average ones. That was one of the average ones. Again, just tripping over her own feet, and then when she got back up, just swarmed upon by Giants. And now a chance for Joondalup with Biddle. Biddle goes to the line. They don't hold off at all on this occasion. They chop her down low. Take her legs out from underneath her, but Stevens sweeps around. Anika Stevens steps off the left, barrels over the top of one, gets the flick pass out towards the line, but the Fremantle Roosters get across and take Moika into touch. Well, she's dangerous close to the line, hard to stop, and the Roosters did a good job getting across to prevent that one.
We might just jump down sideline. Macy Simpkins, well, we might have a little breath of fresh air here. Those 2 tries late just changed the whole complexion of this game, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. At half-time, I actually managed to get both messages from each team, which was pretty similar. For Freo, they mentioned they've still got another level to go. And for Giants, it was to get Mongrel. So we can see very similar mindsets for both teams here to finish off the second half.
Pretty poor error right in front of the sticks. Gives the ball straight back to Joondalup Giants in front. So a scrum. Fans out to the right for Arere instantly, and bunts up into the line. It's going to be 2 in the tackle here every single day of the week. Don't even think she was going for the strip at all there, Kayla Webb. Just walked away with the ball.
Yeah, sometimes you just end up with the ball in your hand and you don't know how it got there.
Nice little one. Kiri Smiler straight away off the tap. Chance for a strip on that occasion, not taken.
Saw one in the NRLW last weekend where one of the players ended up with the ball in their hand and tried to give it back, but it was too late by then. There had to be a penalty.
This is not a penalty if I do the right thing. Offload available, but they look pretty content to take the tackle. Backdoor Stevens through Arere's hands. Now there's space for Joe Solomon, who takes on the contact front Tom. Good set building. Naria screaming for it deep in the line here. They would choose to go straight underneath instead though. Didn't quite get the ball to ground. Half a yard short Anika Stevens and knows it. Straight back to the 10 again.
Well, that effort from Katarina Horner getting across. Stevens was just about to roll around and put the ball down, and Horner gets across. Now the kick. Put down and a try to the Giants, is it?
Moeka should be the try scorer again.
As a chat to the touch judge, happy with it. 6 again and a double for Mata Moeka. And again, a mistake from a kick.
Just catching that really awkwardly there, Bailey. Had the fingers up. I mean, not in the slips cordon. Most of those are still just going to have to be chesties.
Yeah, it was the Edward Scissorhands technique. Not really effective.
Didn't successfully pop the ball either.
It always looked awkward, and now it's 8-all with a kick to come. You see, whenever the game gets tight, we see with these top teams, we see with the Joondalup Giants, whenever it gets tight, they look to Anika Stevens to change the momentum. When the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs gets tight, they look to Kaylee Thompson to change the momentum. The Fremantle Roosters, who is it that they're looking for in these situations? When it gets down to the business end and you need something special, who's the player that they're going to look to try and turn the momentum?
Important nudge. 2 points extra, 10 points to 8 now. Yeah, that's the question. You can't rely on forwards to do it for you, to just be a spark. I mean, Ko Peters is going to offer you something here in the second half, but that's not off the back of playmaking. Katrina Horner, maybe it's all the skipper's role tonight, already scored one herself going up the guts, and maybe just needs to play through a couple sets of hands, draw and pass now that they know the attention's going to be there.
I'll tell you, there's one player sprinting back to the halfway line there in Claudia Foster. That might be one that I'd look to. A player with a lot of experience, has played at a high level in that New South Wales Women's Premiership. She's a player that I'd be looking to for the Roosters to try and lift them to that next level and get them back into this game now that they've slipped behind once more. As Norton gets us underway, look towards Smiler, who was just a little bit late in getting there. Eventually does get the ball in hand. Well, definitely want a completed set now. The Joondalup Giants coming out of their own end. Always important to complete after points, but when it's a 2-point ball game, see a good shot there, charging out Rungalunga. She might be another one looking to take on that, the experienced player, looking to lift her side. As Stevens once again breaking through tackles. Horner comes up with a tackle down low on Warren, but it's a quick play the ball. Horner almost gets in the way inadvertently. The little kick over the top into space. It's sitting up and getting back and cleaning that one up is Isabel Bailey. Well, she might not have been able to clean up the bomb, but does fantastically well in cleaning up that one as knees and legs and feet were coming for her head.
Confidence there was key, and still, you know, you've just conceded one, but at least with confidence, Bailey came back and dove on that. It's good to see. Can't drop your head here. Jenkins through the middle. Very important finish to this game coming up. Fremantle Roosters win this, you can pretty much lock away the third, you'll think. It's going to take a mighty old victory from the North Beach Sea Eagles next week, and probably a pretty good outfit. Well, they've probably got to beat Ellenbrook tonight to be any chance.
Well, that's what it would come down to. If Fremantle win this game, then North Beach have to beat Ellenbrook in the game later on tonight.
That's a pretty good kick by Beth Norton. Relieves a lot of pressure and gets really deep down the field. So to beat Joondalup ball, 18 or so from their own line. They have been running the ball supremely well to start this second half.
Well, just allows them to set their defensive line here and really get up, jam up into the face of the Giants and try and force that mistake. They want to get the ball down this end of the field. So you wouldn't think Chanel Edwards is going to offer up that error. So just work it out of their own end at the moment. Here's another good run. Been very impressed with Kennedy Jo Solomon tonight. She's been good in both attack and defence. Has contained Keisha Marshall on that side defensively as well. There's Edwards, a second run in this set.
Offload, there's the error.
Dumps it out the back and it's knocked down. Was that knocked down by Turner Wallace? It's going to be a knock on Fremantle. I don't know whether they needed that offload there from Edwards, but I think we'll have a look at this replay.
It's Joondalup ball. So he's adjudicating this forward.
There we go. Just slapped down by Turner Wallace and went forward. She was trying to knock it back, but I think it's slipped off the fingers and gone forward. So Joondalup, they get a repeat set, and Stevens almost goes through, but it's Foster coming across to shut her down and say there's no way through here, Neeks. Still gets a quick play the ball. Out of dummy half, markers ruled to be square. So not a lot of metres on offer. A little bit of a second effort there from Retene. Now Naria. Shot down low and a penalty. I'm going to assume offside. They're going to say allowed to take that quick tap there, Parakura Shernak. Well, I'm surprised at that. Usually from an offside penalty, they don't allow those quick taps, but they've got the roll going as Edwards runs into heavy contact. No offload this time. Parakura Shernak to dummy half. Warren stands in wait. It goes out the back of her to Biddle. Biddle dummies to the first runner. Gives it to the second runner. That's Toa. Held up. Just short of the line. They go again to this right-hand side with Biddle. Short pass to Porter. Important tackle there from the Roosters. Biddle to dummy half. Fires one to the middle of the field. Warren looks to straighten. The defence up to the task from Fremantle. Forcing a pass out the back. It's gone backwards. Play on is the call. It comes out to Stevens. Stevens gets it wider. They've got big numbers. They have to score. They do score.
I think they were always going to get beat on the outside there, Donny, but it didn't help with the confusion on the call. There's plenty of numbers around the outside that were probably going to get released regardless, though.
Everybody just stopped on that call. Thought it was held. There was no held call. They get out wide.
Makes this mountain just that intimidatingly bit bigger. 14-8. They convert this, it gets really tough. Fremantle Roosters home fans will be crossing the fingers, getting the dole out. Maybe a toothpick inserted into it, we'll find out.
It was a Taryn Wiley that scored the try. Just tried to pick it up on a couple of different angles, but...
Might go down quickly. Macy Simpkins, sideline. I mean, 14 points to 8. Joondalup, they're going to start relaxing into this. A bit of game management coming from Stevens, you would assume.
Yeah, I think maybe not relaxing into it, but more so just trying to get some more points on the board to really extend that lead here, I think is what they'd be aiming for. And for Freo, obviously, just not letting those mistakes creep in and it's still, contestable. It's still a fight that they can get back into. But at this time, yeah, that last play especially, it's a simple just play by the ref call. So, I don't know.
Fair enough. 8-16. The margin is double the score of the Roosters at the moment, and they're going to need 2 good ones to be any fighter's chance in this.
Well, we saw they got 2 tries in 2 minutes, so there is plenty of time for the Roosters. That's the positive. But the Giants, they do look like that they've moved into, out of second gear into third now, and they're starting to roll. They've got a couple of decisions went their way in the last couple of minutes. A couple of things that could have gone either way that went the Giants' favour. They were good enough to take advantage of that.
The old grubbler.
Yeah, it was a squib kick straight down the middle. Could have bounced anywhere, but it sits up nicely for the Giants. Zarere brings that back on the first play.
Peters wants a bit. She's circled around twice looking for the first receiver. Wants to lay a hit.
Yeah, they don't give you too many free hits here, the Giants, so there's not too much telegraphing of whose run it is. They've usually got a couple of options, which takes the shooters out of play. Warren just struggles up, enjoying that lock roll, the workhorse type roll. The kick goes down, bouncing around towards the sideline.
That's a pretty confidently played set, I must say.
Well, you talked about game management, and that was game management 101.
Good movement of the ball, didn't allow any error opportunities, and then a very crafty kick to gain lots of metres, rolling over into touch deep. No winger to defend the line out wide there. A good first up tackle. Fremantle are going to have to find a little bit of aggression to work back into this now.
Well, Macy said that the halftime chat from Joondalup was that they wanted some mongrel, and they've definitely come out and shown a bit of that. Fremantle need to respond and find some a bit of dog in themselves here.
Can't rely on Beth Norton to crash into 2 forwards like that. Peters gets an opportunity through the middle and gets rid of 1. Half gets rid of 2 and gets the leg drive going for an extra couple.
It's hard to tackle. I don't know whether I'd want to have a crack.
It's chance. An awkward pass. They don't want to sell the free here. That made it look even worse, leaving it for that long. Still gained 1.5 meters off that tackle somehow, though. His last. Slow ruck. No reward. Eventually ball comes free. Norton set deep and goes high central footy. King probably the most likely to come onto this. Mongrel bounce. That's maybe the mongrel they need, is a couple of errant bounces. Should fall away into the touch. Was it touched at all by Joondalup there? I don't think so.
Well, that's the call. It's going to be Freo's ball.
Big opportunity here now. Fremantle Roosters at home. The crowd has hung around.
Well, we talked about Joondalup taking a few calls that went their way. Now the Roosters need to do the same. They've got the great opportunity, 20 out from the Giants line. Goes to Atwell. Atwell goes to the line. Had Norton on the outside. Decides not to use the 6. Tracking across field, and Horner again juggles. Steps off the left foot. Kennedy Joe Solomon stays with it defensively, and now a chance for Peters to just crash over. Wanted it. The Giants wanted to stop her a little bit more. Jetta to dummy half. Goes to Norton. Norton goes to the line, squares up the shoulders again, goes out wide, and another try to Isabel Bailey. But the touch judge has called that forward. Oh.
Where's camera 3? I need confirmation. Here we go. As called for, maybe not. Almost had me. Yeah, probably just is forward.
Oh, it's again, it's tough to tell from that angle. It's not directly in line, but hands looked okay to me. Tough one. You've got to go with the referee's call. They're the ones that are standing directly in line with it.
Now we've got to lay the hit.
Well, it's yeah, it's not the best of decisions for the game, I suppose. We would have loved to set up that close finish.
Yeah, that's not team bias. That's just commentary bias. That's just wanting action. Out of their back half. Joondalup Giants through Warren. Now Edwards. Have defended really well tonight, Fremantle Roosters. It's just been on the kicks, have been craftily chewing up the metres. That's for sure. Stevens lets that one go early for Porter. Might even be Taron Wiley, not Porter. Stevens will go from half. Gets on the outside and shrugs one off and splits the difference of the next two. Just getting that to ground in time before the call. Sneaking away with it. Little shin boner through the middle. Gets really wide. And tackled over into touch. Not a good one there. Isabel Bailey, 2 tries tonight, but has never been able to escape the action. Attack or defence. Shrugged over and Joondalup ball 20 out.
But what a couple of minutes that is for Isabel Bailey. She dots down for a try that's taken away from her in one corner, and then down in the other corner, gets caught up right up against the sideline, and Brianna Bunce just chucks her into touch. So now the Giants effectively with a chance to ice this game, you would think. Inside the final 10, the try here, and it's game over as Porter goes looking to go between defenders, held up. Again, good defence. That time Kayla Webb comes up with the important tackle. Biddle waits. They don't go to Biddle. They go from dummy half. Parakura Chernak fighting towards the line. Can't get it down. Held up. We'll have to go back 10.
Seen a lot of sneak tries this season from half, but that was probably the one time where 2 markers were looking dead at the half. No way through.
Now they come towards the middle with Edwards. Edwards gets through the first tackle down low. Not too much on offer after that. No way through Foster. Now comes to Stevens. Stevens just fires it out wide. Sees space out for Wiley. Wiley tracked towards the sideline. The sliding defence got hold of her. Does well to find the grass and stay in the field of play. Again to Stevens. Stevens is going to look to bomb across field. This is going to be a contest. Porter allowed to bounce. Sits up nicely for Bailey. She's going to try and counter-attack, but plenty of defence in front of her. Pulls out of the tackle from Biddle, who tried the one-on-one strip. It just allows her almost to the 20-metre line. The Roosters, time is becoming their enemy. They need to find a way to go 80. Get up the other end, some way, somehow. Jenkins just coming in to take a little bit of pressure off a tiring forward pack. He's left a couple in a wake there. A good run from Tiana Jenkins. Now they get out of dummy half. The dummy to Foster, who will now go into dummy half herself, and you'd think we'll have a run from there. Goes to Runga instead. So it's a pretty conservative set given the situation of the game.
Still good yards. Going to take something magical from Norton over the top. Lands in some pretty neutral territory though. And easy for Bunce to come straight back. So again, we fall into the territory. 6 minutes to go. And an error is what's required here for Fremantle. First tackle just slips off to the side. Can get the held call. I think everyone just accepts that was a tackle instead. Coming backwards from marker. Brilliant work, Runga. Edwards gives her 4th pass of her career. Turner Wallace through the line. Just wants to keep fighting on. Norton's strip not successful. Need a graphic for that, producer Dave. Chanel Edwards passes. Just work on that for 2025 for us. Yeah, career passes, thank you. Atwell brings up last. Looks like it should be a ball for Biddle to play with, and gets told to play with herself, so just kicks it on through the line and has a bit of a chase on through to Atwell. And June Biddle That can't be that funny, kids. Atwell tackled deep in her own half. Grow up. That is a perfectly constructed sentence. Picking it up from the back off the turnover. Childish. Can't reprimand you enough.
That's got to be replayed on Ken Allen night for sure. As the Roosters working it out of their own end. It's a run from dummy half into Edwards and Warren. Dummy and go. Again around the shoulder. The pass goes back to Runga. Dummied on the outside. Still trying to force the pass out to Marshall, but couldn't quite get rid of it. Another little bit of a fight there, that time with Kiri Smiler. It's been a nice battle between Runga and Edwards, but that time it's the other Giants front rower.
Smiler was good on the ground there as well. Controlled that space.
Again, Norton gets to the kick, puts it downfield, but taken on the full. Good chase through from Horner to make the tackle, but they're just not doing enough with the ball for mine, Nick. They're just, it's 5 hit-ups for a kick and just hoping Joondalup make a mistake. You've got to force something to happen here.
With 7 minutes to go, I was okay with the straight. With 6 minutes to go, I was okay with the straight. But now in the final 5, I need to see 2 passes in at least 3 or 4 of the tackles. Makes things awfully hard for yourself when you don't suck in any defenders.
Well, the Giants, they're quite happy to just march upfield, standing in tackles, not getting any assistance. Anybody want to come in and help? There we go. Horner eventually decides to get in and help finish that tackle off. Joondalup have got all the time in the world. They're quite happy to just march upfield.
Early kick.
Put the kick down. It sits up. Taken nicely in the end by Atwell.
I think they know they've got that headspace in this game now. They've really settled down Joondalup, and this second half, obviously scoring tries help, but this second half has been really well managed, and they've mentally had the win all day.
Now Fremantle. Well, let's see if they fire a shot here in this set. So far we've just seen hit up. This time Marshall. They're still 80 metres away from where they need to be. Another run from dummy half, standing in the tackle, gets through that tackle. Now they swarm in around here, the Giants, so they've got to use the ball now. They've got the Giants at 6s and 7s. Where are their halves? It goes to Foster. Foster just goes to the line and takes a hit up. Well, they had the numbers out there to the right. They've still got numbers out there to the right. If they can just get the ball there. It's all very disorganised, a little dishevelled. The nice bounce, it goes back to Jenkins. Can they create something? Still the last play. Jenkins doesn't get the pass away and hands it over.
I think that one, this set is the perfect one now for the review footage. If we're going to talk about this next week as a club, as the Fremantle Roosters should be doing coming into finals, 4th tackle after a line break and we've gone hit up, and then 5th tackle we've got 7 players out to the right-hand side of the field, and not one of them was ready to do any sort of footy action, so we just had to kick it through after the first pass. That's the 2 tackles that you've noticed, and now with 4 minutes to go, after a line break, almost unacceptable coming into the finals.
Absolutely. They haven't given themselves a chance. When they got 8 behind, they've kind of gone into their shell rather than continuing to play footy. It's hasn't been the greatest of finishes to this game from the Roosters, and now it looks like time is well and truly against them. They may get a consolation try, but it'll be too little too late.
They are my favourite.
The Joondalup Giants,
Yeah, where do you rate this performance then, Donnie?
They haven't been super impressive either, but just as we see Biddle trying to put the exclamation point on, puts the flick over the back to Moeka. That one rightfully called forward, I think.
Yeah, I can't give this one an A+ or any sort of means like that for sure. They haven't fully been tested. They got worried at half-time, but this has been 30 very good minutes of footy that it's hard to ever give it a high pass mark because they haven't really been tested.
Time ticking away for the Roosters. Do they have a trick shot up their sleeve to at least give their home fans something to cheer about? coming into next week because, well, their spot in the finals could still be up for grabs. Certainly depending on the result of the next game, which we're not broadcasting, the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs against the North Beach Sea Eagles. Could be an important one.
I don't know what side the rumours were from, but there was rumours of forfeits and everything, so it depends on what team that came from. Could affect the result tonight. Good tidy work, need to get the offload. Fremantle Roosters still a chance, maybe. No, whistle blows. Lost forward first.
I was going to say passing off the ground.
Oh, yeah, correct.
So passing after the tackle was complete. It mustn't have been, there's the full-time siren, it mustn't have been the last tackle when that tackle happened because he was going back on side, but a penalty to Joondalup. They tap and kick it into touch, and that's full-time. 16 points to 8 in favour of Joondalup on the Fuel to Go and Play scoreboard. Professional victory from the Giants.
Absolutely, and still, without a doubt, one of the most confusing games of football I think we've called this year. I want to put it all down to poker from both sides. I think both teams have been instructed not to give certain things away, and it's led into a murky mindset, let's say, for the least from both teams. Obviously, once the pressure got on, then, yeah, Joondalup started to get their straps, and you're always going to get good plays out of Anika Stevens and alike, but I do believe Macy's already ready down on the sideline with Mrs. 100.
Yes, I am with Mrs. 100, Keisha Marshall here. Despite not getting the win tonight, we are still celebrating your 100 games, so congratulations for that. What does that milestone mean to you?
So proud. I love this club, and I'm just so proud to do it with them. Yeah.
Not many words, eh?
I never have many words.
No, all good. Well, enjoy the celebration with the girls, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
Short and sweet. Here's to 100 more then. We can maybe double the length of the speech for the next one. So we'll go back to Macy in a second once she can pull one out of the huddle there. They're all forming up. I mean, thoughts with one round to go, Donnie? The finals are locked up basically in a sense, unless we get the shock tonight. But you'll hear about it next week on the Westpac Women's Premiership. But what are your thoughts leading into the finals campaign?
Well, I mean, the other piece to the puzzle, I guess, is that the Joondalup Giants have temporarily, at least, moved into top spot. So it's been a fantastic competition. Every Friday night, we turn up to various venues, and I never know what the result's going to be. It's been tight throughout. We've had so many close games throughout the season, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun with one round to go in the regular season.
Could be a very, very good end to the season as we go back down to Macy with Matea Moeka.
Yeah, so I've got Namata Moeka here. I was just down at half-time and you managed to come back and get that win. What got you guys over the line?
We played as a team, and we kept pushing it and working as a team, and it's all about like talking and like communication and that.
Yeah, awesome. That's fine. And you scored a double as well. Talk us through that. How does that feel, getting your team on the board?
Feels good. I was looking for the hat trick, but it's all up to you and the team, but we did pretty good. And yeah.
No, awesome work. Well, congrats, and I'll let you join the team again. Good back. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Matt. And Macy Simpkins down on the sideline there. That is pretty much a wrap down here for another week of the Westpac Women's Premiership. 16 points to 8. The Joondalup Giants defeat the Fremantle Roosters at home. One more round to go here in the Westpac Women's Premiership here on a Friday night, and we'll be moving into the finals. We'll catch you all next week.